Today there is a chief guest for us, as in detail profile of the guest is already explained to you in detail. Before your arrival itself, we have introduced all the profile of yours, sir. So I actually request the chief guest to please come here and address the gathering. And students, this is a wonderful opportunity for all of you, because as a chief guest today, there is a person who came up from scratch having beautiful ideologies and now a billionaire right now, who is in front of you. So many people may be having their own, due to financial constraint, I have wonderful ideologies, but I'm not able to do this particular business or that particular thing. But there is a role model right now in front of you where you can share your ideas, and whatever questions you have also, you can have a beautiful and interactive session with him. So please.
So very good evening to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So first, thank you Dr. Subna for inviting me. I'm very impressed with your credentials. Medical doctor, now running a business school. I'm sure the rub-off effect is from the gentleman sitting to your right. That's very good, because running an organization, I saw what Satish is doing, an amazing job, but I'm sure you will do equally a good job in growing this part of the school. So we wish you all the very best. I'm very impressed with all the young people that I see in front of me. How many of you have heard me earlier this evening? Put your hands up. Okay. Half dozen of them. Good. Thank you. I just want to make sure that I don't repeat myself. I'll attempt not to repeat myself. I'm so glad at this point of time that we are setting up an Innovation and Idea Generation Center. To be the future of this nation will center around innovation at this point of time. And the timing is perfect in terms of innovation. So to me, people ask me what brings innovation out of people. So to me, there are 5 rudimentary things that will generate innovation in them. First and foremost is start challenging the status quo. Why does it work this way? Why doesn't it work differently? Can I have a better solution than what we have right now? So therefore, you constantly challenge the status quo. If I say, you can ask a mundane question, why do people drive to the left and drive to not to the right? Because it's organized that way. If you start driving to the right, some to the right, some to the left, you will probably get into an accident. But that's not necessarily true. You could ask a number of questions. Why does that fan have such a thick globe or downgrade? Can I make it look better if I want to do my innovation? So therefore, any design that's available to you, any product that's available to you, look at what happened is that an innovation I'll talk about is there's something called the glucometer. What does the glucometer do? Use puncture cells, people who have sugar. My wife does this poor lady for a number of years. And then every week she has to test, saying that what's the blood sugar level. But people went back and said, what is the, how does it happen? Enzyme is the one with which they're doing it. They said, can we do something else? And what is that something else they look for is the color of the blood. Depending upon the sugar level, you can see the color of the blood color is different. It might not be visible to the naked eye, no chance at all. But when you look at computer vision, now that technology plays there, you can always, now you don't need any more of tricking of this. It's expensive, all right, but they're also trying to get to more amount of reliability. But the fact is, this is an innovation by itself. People do lots of frugal innovation. Like somebody has, instead of bullocks driving a cart, they have a cycle rickshaw driving it. The cart itself, the same bullock cart, but then they put 2 cycles and 2 people pedal it around, etc. Maybe if you say, is that innovation? Yes, but it's a frugal innovation. It is also sort of to tinker around an idea. But look for the big ideas. which are there to say, can we do something better? Some people are sitting close to the air conditioning. It makes noise. Did you ever understand why the noise comes from? Where the noise comes from? Can you bring down the noise? You couldn't believe this. Aircrafts have been there for 100 years now. The aircraft engines are there for 100 years. But only in the recent past, people discovered what makes the most of the noise in the aircraft engine. What makes the maximum amount of noise in an aircraft engine? Guess. Yeah? What's your name? Lakshman. Lakshman says fan. Correct answer. Fan makes the noise. And the reason why, but actually, if you look at behind the fan, there's a compressor, there's a combustor, there's an explosion happens. If the explosion does not make the noise, fan makes the noise. But do you know why fan makes the noise? Okay. The fan makes the noise because it is running at 3 times the speed it's required. And so therefore, why is it running at 3 times the speed? Because an aircraft engine has only one propeller in the center. There's one shaft, we call it. On all the shafts, all the subsystems keep running. That is, the fan takes the air, throws it in. The compressor takes it in, compresses further, low pressure compressor, high pressure compressor. Then you start combustor, where you fuel ignites it. That ignited fuel with high explosion then goes in, thrusts itself in a turbine. And turbine starts giving you power. That's how the whole process works. So people started saying, because of one spindle, the noise was high. And then they also found out that the carbon emissions were higher because of this one spindle problem. They also found out that the fuel consumption was higher because of this one spindle problem. They're not optimizing each subsystem to make sure that it runs at the most optimal level. What did they do? It was the 21st century innovation. We participated in that. And people could not ever believe it, is that we put a gearbox inside an aircraft engine. Is it gearbox inside an aircraft engine? Yes, we do. So what does it do therefore is because the gearbox, the meshing of gears that happen, each of the subsystem runs at a different speed. That is innovation. So why did it happen? People challenged it. So first and the foremost is challenge the status quo. That's how innovation happens. The second one is no idea can be perfected in one iteration. You try out something and then it won't work. Very simple. You throw it off and say it's not working, go home. You can happily sleep thereafter. But your career will be the same, it won't change. So the second reason why we think innovation happens is with persistence. Try again until you succeed. We have seen this over and over and over again. And a third thing that is very interesting is that right now products are not into one discipline as such. A very good example I have is people were getting a degree called automobile engineering. And they spent automobile engineering 4-year degree, like any other engineering degree. At least they spent 1 year out of that learning all about IC engines. What is IC engine? The engine in your car. It's called internal combustion engine, petrol engine or the diesel engine. Now look at the new car that's there. Does it have an IC engine in the electric car? It doesn't. It's gone. Actually, to the extent 7 years back or so, the first time I had the opportunity of driving a Tesla, I said, amazing car it is. But more importantly, I said, let's find out how big is the battery. So I opened the hood, I didn't find it. I opened the trunk, I didn't find it. Then asked this young man, saying, where is the battery? And he said, actually, there's something called floor plate in a car. The float plate is one, so that nothing external from the bottom comes into the car. In the past, you see, driving into water, water does not come, there's a plate at the bottom. That's called a float plate. They converted the float plate into a battery. They just increased the thickness of the float plate and made sure that we can be battery person. So what is the third thing that, so therefore, what has the car become now? It is not the conventional automobile. It has multiple disciplines built into it. What is it doing right now with the autopilot provisions that we have provided to the cars at this point in time in navigation? There's an enormous amount of electronics. There is software. There are sensors. There are cameras. There is no IC. So products have become, I can give you examples of this nature, and I have one more favorite on that. I'll come to that in a minute. Is products have become multidisciplinary. And my favorite is this one. What is this one? It's a smartphone. It's an iPhone, right? But it's also a smartphone, right? And I'm sure you have different types. 18 different devices have been compressed into one. And actually there are some PC boards inside which are as large as a postage stamp. As big as a postage stamp. So, and 17 technologies into one. And what is the most difficult thing that, so therefore, normally, what is the phone? It's an electronic device. Who should be designing this? Electronics engineers. That's not necessarily true. What is the most difficult part of this phone? Was number one, the glass that was there. There's a toughened glass that came in. And Dow said, Dow told me there's the glass for Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs went and told him, they said, we have the glass, but that would cost him, for a phone, it would cost him $2,000. He said, I'll give you $20 for it. No more than that. They said, crazy guy, get lost from it. And he said, look, I'm going to buy 100 million pieces. I turned around. So therefore, the point I'm making is, products have become multidisciplinary. So innovation will happen, but we don't have multidisciplinary, right? Can I ask somebody, one of you, saying that you have knowledge about, say, glass? Glass, which is actually to do with nanomaterials, actually. So they have to work in teams. That's the third part. Multidisciplinary is leading us into team effort that has to go by individuals cannot be there. It has to be, because you look at teams, not necessarily only engineers. We find non-engineers also working. Because one of the key things, the second challenge that Steve Jobs had with this product is what we call it as GUI, graphic user interface. The UI UX was a challenge. UI UX is not done by an engineer, it's done by a non-engineer. Number three, that was the third one. So number four, the whole world at this point of time works in what's called as open innovation. It is not closed innovation any longer. That is, you can innovate sitting in one room. No. The whole world is going ahead of you. So you have to open yourself to open innovation, which means you have to, you give some, you take some. So believe in terms of trying to say, I'll talk to as many people as possible. I run a place called the Tea Hub in Hyderabad. It's the largest incubation center in the world, 500,000 square feet. And one of the things that we did, amazingly well, and even in this is called Tea Hub 2.0, in 1.0 itself, is that there's a cafeteria which is taking 1/5 of the space of the whole building. And people originally said, Mohan, is this a great idea? You're taking 1/5 of the space of cafeteria. And I told them that this will be the most productive area. That is where the ideas exchange happens. That's when people come together, have a cup of coffee. I may have a problem, and the way in which I can exchange it in the cafeteria, having a cup of tea somebody, I express my doubt. I don't need to go anywhere and get my doubts cleared to anybody. And the last one, the most important one is, you have to take risks. A young man asked me this question saying that, if I know that I'm going to fail, should I stop doing this? No, you should try it out again. You have to completely remove from your minds the fear of failure. So, challenge the status quo. teams be persistent, open innovation, and then take risks. That's what, to me, is all about innovation. That's when the best of innovation will come out of you. But innovation has to, ideas are plenty. To me, idea generation is not an issue at all. I mean, there are people, I'm not the best guy, but I know people who can give you enormous number of ideas. But ideas, then what you do is that you put them together with appropriate technologies to innovate a product. But the product you innovated may not be marketable because the product has to become robust, rugged. It has to have all the quality built into it. It has to have all the functionality built into it. And finally, it has to have the right cost. So what I will conclude by saying is, you've got a long way to go. Learn all these, but more importantly, flawlessly execute. That's when you will have a product for yourself. So I'm delighted to meet all of you. Wish you all the very best. God bless you. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all the other people here. A warm and graceful evening to our honorable chief guest, Dr. B.V.R. Mohan Reddy, founder and chairman of CIENT here. I'd like to invite Shasha Reddy, chairperson, to hand over.
Yes, sir. Sir, if I have an idea, how can I change it to reality? Can you suggest me the steps to change idea to reality?
See, you have right.
If I have started with any technology based.
Get very specific. Technology means the universe is technology. So specifically tell me, I want to build this product, I want to build this software, I want to do this service. Tell me what is that you have in mind?
Sir, I have to start a business in transportation business. Sir, I didn't explain.
No, briefly. You can start with. See, we give people, we fund them with millions of dollars. 2 minutes. Seriously, 2 minutes is what they get. What more than that? So if you're not going to do that, then you will never become it.
Okay, sir. Now, we take an example. If an Ola is there, they are hiring the riders and they are giving services to people to transfer companies to another place. I have an idea that if you create a platform, if any person want to go from here to Canada, they have to list before half an hour. The person who want to go in that time, they can see the posting or see the person and they can request that person to take him.
Sure. And this is not, Lakshman, thank you very much. So this is a platform that you want to build. So therefore, go and do a little more market research on this. There is competition already there. I am not hearing this story for the first time. This is the 10th time I am hearing the story. And I tell you one more thing, I don't fund companies. I'm not that you're asking me funding, but I tell you money to ask. I never fund a company if I've already heard the story once, not even the second time. So therefore, I think you go back, which means to me, if you want to convert it into a product, please don't think that I'm harsh on you. You have to do a lot of research yourself. Unless you have to feel confident when you speak about it. You took a long time to transcend from where you were to where you are at this point. So my suggestion to you is, whenever you have a proposition, you should be so thorough that everything in 2 minutes should be done. Thank you. Let's move on.
That's Pickles online.
Pickles online.
Yeah, Slagan.
So there are n number of people who sell pickles, including my dear friend Yella Foods. So Chitra Ella has a company which she sends me all the time garlic pickle. I am very, very fond of the garlic pickle of Chitra Ella. So tell me, how are you different?
Mine is different from others, sir, because we make pickles after taking the order, and we make customization pickles. Everything was customized, and we have lot of varieties, like 100+ varieties we have pickles, and in non-veg and veg also, like mint chicken pickle, Have you heard about this, sir?
Mint chicken pickle.
Mint chicken pickle.
Yeah.
There are a lot of varieties like that. So now I'm going to expand my business. Already I'm doing well in online. In first 2 months, my turnover was 1 lakh. Without any like promotions and everything, I used some strategies and I built my brand. Now I'm going to expand my business in offline also. So I just want to research on machinery. Like I don't have a technical knowledge because I'm a management student. I have all kinds of knowledge. Like I know every aspect of which includes in business, but I don't have a technical knowledge. I want to improve myself in technical also because I need to work with machineries. So I need to run my business with the machineries. So I want to know regarding that. So
I'll make a couple of suggestions for you guys. First one is you said you don't have technical knowledge.
yes.
So find somebody who has technical knowledge to be a part of your team. It could be a variance, it could be a co-founder with you, it could just be a director with you, it could be just a pure employee with you, it can be any of those variants. But definitely find somebody, when you know that you have a weakness, the easiest way to address the weakness is to fill that up ASAP. That's number one. So technical part, machinery will take care of it. But before you expand, I think the question that I'll ask is, this 1 lakh rupees we are selling at this point in time, have you done any analysis of the profile of people who are buying them?
We won't add preservatives and
People who are buying the profile of customer profile.
Oh, okay, sir. My target audience are hostlers, we export our products to other countries also.
Not at 1 lakh rupees value.
What, sir?
At 1 lakh rupee revenue, you can't be exporting products abroad.
No, not like that, sir. We have clients in different countries. They'll order through online, like they'll order 10 kgs like that. We will make their order and we send to other countries.
Okay.
Now I'm going to expand to export my pickles to other countries because some people are ready to take franchise from my brand.
Okay. So the key thing that I get worried about it is that pickles have shelf life.
Yes, sir.
Right? So you have to have the right technology to make sure that the shelf life improves.
Yes.
I think they do pumping of some gases inside. Some people vacuum the bottle. All those things they done. I don't know about it. So therefore, unless you perfect them, don't get into this business of saying I want to export them, and then right, and something goes wrong, you'll be in very serious trouble.
Yes, sir. That's the main problem, sir. We won't use preservatives and artificial colors. That's why I started this business. We thought, people are.
But then they have a long shelf life. You don't use preservatives.
Yes, sir.
They don't, right?
Yes, sir.
So what will you do with it?
Actually, now I'm doing online business, right, sir? So I keep the thing online only. So I'll make.
So we'll have an offline conversation.
Now I want to start offline with preservatives and artificial colors, but different varieties of pickles.
It's not fair for only all the people in our conversation. So my recommendation request to you is send me an email with your questions. We'll try to answer them, but please be patient with the answering. But one thing I'll tell you on this getting to global business, exports, etc. Governance becomes extremely important. We keep saying the action and reaction are disproportionate to each other. You may have I have a small little escape that happened. A small little escape, which means that we did not comply with one small regulation somewhere. And it's public domain information, I can tell you. Last quarter, our lawyer fees, just the lawyer fees, was $2.5 million. That's roughly about 20 crores is just the lawyer fee we are running at this point in time. So therefore, cause and effect are different. So don't run it. I can give you an innumerable example. I gave you a live example, it's their public domain, so therefore it doesn't matter. But have an offline conversation. Please sit down. All the best to you. Thank you.
In this disrupting and distracting era, how can a student be dedicated to his entrepreneurship idea? nowadays students having distractions from their mobile phones and games, no, sir. How can they get motivated for an entrepreneurship area?
See, mobile phones is distracting everybody, not only entrepreneurs. Every student is being distracted at this point in time. My golden rule is, if the class is not going well, the student anyway goes to mobile. So actually the teacher also has a challenge at this point in time. So it's not that distraction is happening only for entrepreneurs. It's happening with everybody. It's universal. Can I stop it? I can't stop it. So what will people, those people will still be on the mobile phone is not bad. Getting into mobile phones, doing chats, etc. is not a bad thing for them. But I think the way in which you become an entrepreneur, if you have a passion for entrepreneurship, that will overtake this distraction. This distraction we're talking about is lower hierarchy order of your priorities. Your priority should be entrepreneurship. That nobody can force fit on people, or I can say, so let's look at it. What can I do? Can I say, let's stop all mobile phone usage in social media because I want more amount of entrepreneurs to come back. That's ridiculous. That won't happen. The only way it will happen is some people understand what is entrepreneurship, what is the benefit that they can come out with. What are you doing on the smartphone? Suppose you're learning something well and good. You're watching a movie reasonably okay. You're knowing a dirty movie, it's very bad. Right? But if people are enjoying themselves, it's up to them. It's up to how they're doing their life. Can I intervene in it? I can't. But people who actually are clearly motivated, I keep asking this question. I said this very well earlier in the conversation. Please ask this question to yourself. What is the purpose of my life? Why am I here for? I don't know whether I can say this. I've been talking for a while this morning. But that is the question that you answer, then you'll become an entrepreneur. You say then, the answer that comes out saying that I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. That's my purpose of life. Then you'll say this distractions will go into lower order. So the overall message to all of you is this. There is a very famous poem from a woman called Linda Ellis. The poem is called The Dash. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
Yes, you did. So let me, you can share with them in detail, but I'll briefly say this. This is about people. It's actually a funeral that celebration. This conversation happens and she writes the poem. And when people disappear from this world, there is a tombstone. The tombstone has a name on it, date that people are born. Then there's a dash, and then the people, they disappear. The date you appear, the date you disappear is not in your hands. Somebody else takes the call. You can't make either of those things, are not under a human regime. What is under your control is the dash part of it. What is the dash? What did I contribute in life? If you start asking yourself, what's the purpose of life? Then you'll come back to say, this is what I want to contribute to this world. Before I disappear, the second number comes up. Thank you very much, my young friends. Thank you very much and good luck to all.